within the school district as shown in the exhibit.
Berr, so moved.
Postal second.
So this came as after a discussion that we had at our last meeting. And I think while we had a lot of community members reach out to us prior to our last meeting about where the sculpture should go, after that meeting and the article that came out on cleveland.com, we heard from a lot of other people that weren't in agreement with it going in the high school, on the high school. So a committee made up of members of all three cities and staff and some current students, I think is a good way to go.
Anna?
Yes.
Yeah. So the one sentence that after we had talked about it, and I thought about it, it says equal representation of the three communities.
Yep.
Are you talking like 3 people from each, or 4 from each, or I mean, can it be 4-3-2 or 4-3-3? I mean, just with that equal in there, is that going to limit the configuration? And is there an approximate number that you're looking for the committee, or just see who applies and go from there?
We hadn't discussed a specific number, but you know, if it ends up being 3, then 3 from each city. I mean, larger committees get harder to handle. So I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there, as long as we have equal representation from all 3.
So you're looking for the exact same number from each?
Yeah.
So,
yes.
I'm just asking questions just to clear it in my mind. So you could have 3 adults from Berea, a student, and 2 adults from Brook Park, and 2 students and an adult from Middleburg, or something of that nature. That'd be 3-3-3.
Well, I think the students were separate. The way it's written, the students is separate.
Okay.
Let me see.
Yeah, I don't see that screen right now.
Yeah, it says to form a committee to consist of equal representation of residents from Berea, Brook Park, and Middleburg Heights, and current BMHS students.
Right. All right, I guess.
But we could definitely make sure that we have 3 BMHS students, 1 from each community as well.
Oh yeah, and I'm not concerned so much each student, you know, each community have a student or each community have the same number. I'm just wondering if the wording is going to limit how it's set up. And if not, that's fine. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it.
And if we need to, we can come back to it and revise it at our next meeting.
Okay.
Also, you'll notice that the change order is not on here for the removal. It's not on our meeting as we had discussed at our previous meeting. After that meeting, we had several companies reach out to us saying that they would like an opportunity to price the removal. And so they are in the process of getting bids, and they just couldn't have them ready for us to be able to put on this meeting. So I'm hopeful that we'll have it for the June 29th meeting. Mm-hmm. Steve, did you want to say something?
No, that you answered the question.
Oh, okay.
Anna, I would like to.
Yep.
How is the committee going to be chosen? Is there going to be people going to be asked, or will there be an application? Because I'm just wondering how we would get the people that will from the 3 communities.
Well, I think that's a discussion that we should have now and decide how we'd like to do that.
I would like to see each of us board member. I was thinking of a maybe like a 10 to 12 person committee. Don't want it to be too large, but each of us would be able to nominate an equal number of people that we know from the community. I think that would give us a good representation of each city.
So would they be nominated for consideration, or are you thinking that the nomination would put them on the committee?
Correct. Yeah, the latter.
Okay.
I mean, we could drag this on with applications and interviews. I mean, you know, then who's going to do the interviewing? So I think this decision is an extension of the board. I don't have a problem with the committee concept to get more opinions, but still should be people who are currently living in the district and have some ties to the district, educate, the school district.
I think that if we've got 3 board members that are from Middleburg Heights, and if we kept our focus within our communities, that would be a bigger number of Middleburg possibilities. Not that, it's not that we don't want people to get involved in the process, and if we could actually get a lot of people from each of the communities, that would be great. But we know that it's hard to get people to sit on a committee. But maybe,
well, that's where we would have, obviously we would talk to individuals beforehand, and they would. I don't think we would nominate someone that wouldn't want to serve on it, Corey. I agree, but the district has selected three people from the city of Middleburg Heights, and that was the public's decision when the vote came up. Are you saying that people from Middleburg Heights? I don't understand where you're headed with that.
I'm sorry, I understood what you had said earlier as each board member would
Right.
nominate people.
Right.
One would think, I don't know, one would think that you would nominate people that you're familiar with, so, and most likely those being in your home community.
Not necessarily. No,
Okay.
no, not necessarily. I don't. Yeah. I don't.
Okay.
If I could just ask maybe a comment or clarification. So there's 5 board members. If we each nominate 3, that's 15. I think that might be getting to be too large.
Right.
Is the thought that there would be a 12-person committee, 3 from each community, 3 from the students? I would recommend possibly that the administration look for 3 student leaders to volunteer, because the administration would be very familiar with some of the student leaders, link crew members, student council presidents, things like that are possibilities. Then possibly we have 3 recommendations for each community from the board. So we would maybe recommend 9 people as a composite for the board, 3 from each community. That way we don't get to 15 and then we don't get into a conflict. Well, I want this person versus I want that person. I think, this board works very well together, that we could come up with 9 names, 3 from each community, in a joint fashion to maybe bring back at the next meeting for consideration. And I would definitely think that somebody from the petition committee should be considered, and we don't discount all the work that they've done in the past there, just to be fair to that group as well. I wouldn't want any look to say, hey, we've got 9 names and not one of them was anybody that did all the work on the petition committee and things like that. I think they should be represented somehow on the committee, but not skewed in any one way there. Just my thought there.
Anna,
Yes, Neil?
you had said you had some people, since the article came out, that were more opposed to the sculpture going on in the school. And we also have, from the petition, we know a lot of people who are for it. Can we draw any names off? If we draw some off of the petition, is there a list that we could draw off of from the other group?
Sure, there wasn't any official group. It was just,
Oh, no, not a group, but the other people who had contacted you who are not as interested in having the sculpture on the school building, the new school building. Okay.
What about staff?
I would recommend somebody from the staff or administration maybe be the facilitator at this time. If you try to get 12 people that don't know each other into a room or whatever that number might be, they could spend, weeks possibly up with facilitator. So I'm not volunteering, Tracy or Mike or somebody like that, but I'm sure they can delegate that responsibilities to some, able-bodied person on their staff that's really has a passion for this as well. You know, maybe some art teacher or something comes to mind. I don't know.
Actually, Mike Graves has already agreed to lead the committee.
I'm sorry,
Oh,
what was that?
okay.
Yeah, Mike Graves.
Oh, okay.
But I meant like teacher representatives. Should we have a few teachers on there as well? Because the resolution doesn't specify, it just says residents and students. It doesn't say staff. Should we add staff in there?
My thought, Anna, is let's just hypothetically say Berea. I'm just, so if we had somebody from the committee that's part of the Berea Historical Society, Tree of Knowledge group as one, we've got, you know, plenty of teachers that live in Berea that could possibly be one of those reps. There is one of the folks that you heard that might be on the other side of the coin there. You know, if we've got, I think we could easily find teacher reps that also represent that are residents as well, and not necessarily get it to a 15, 18 person committee. That's just my thought there. So
Okay.
So if they are residents of one of the three cities, but happen to also be staff, that doesn't exclude them.
I think that's very good.
It can be included to be considered.
Right, I agree. Good
Oh,
point.
yeah. They have even multiple reasons to support something like this or provide input. You know, they're both taxpayers, you know, often they're alumni and they also work here and have a vested interest in the future. So, you know.
I think we also need to develop some kind of timeline, because before we ask people to participate, they will be interested in knowing, you know, approximately how many meetings are going to take place and over what time period and all that stuff. So I can get together with Tracy and Mike Draves and discuss those things a little bit further.
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted to get the ball rolling on establishing the committee, and now we can work out all those details.
Yeah. I see the two phases as a location recommendation can be a shorter timeline versus possibly the funding aspects may be a longer phase, but Mike's very good at raising money, so I'm sure he's got it all figured out.
Is there, Anna,
Yes.
Go on mute too.
could you just help me with this committee? Is there a proviso that no district funds be used to place the sculpture on the building, or is that a committee decision?
Then the resolution last meeting?
Well, the resolution,
I can't see what it says.
It says funding to restore and reinstallation of the sculpture.
So it doesn't preclude tax dollars.
Well, once again, Steve, it's only a recommendation. Any approval of those funds would be up to the board's vote as well.
Right, I know, Jeff.
I think I know where you're going. But
Yeah, you know.
I'm not sure if we need to put that in the resolution for the committee. I think that would bog down forming the committee with that kind of statement. That's just my thought, though.
Didn't the resolution that we passed to fund the removal have a provision in there that there wasn't funds available for, and I don't remember the resolution itself.
we haven't officially passed that yet because we haven't had the change order.
Oh, we haven't, all right.
Yeah, no, we
The
just
one-
discussed it. We
All
just,
right, I'm sorry, that's the one I read, we haven't voted on it. All right, I apologize.
right.
Okay.
Okay, so we're in a good place?
Hmm.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Ferris,
Ferris, yes.
Mr. Postal,
Also, yes.
Mrs. Chapman,
Chapman, yes.
Mr. Dockman,
Bachman, yes.
Mr. Duke.
Duke, yes.
Okay, number 21, it's recommend, or 29, it's recommended the Director of Business Services be authorized to purchase liability, fleet, property, and supplemental insurance